Hello YouTube, it's me again. It's always going to be me if you're on this channel. I had a bit of an epiphany tonight. Or like a realization type thing. I don't know, something kind of, I have an idea. I've been saying on these videos that I'm not trying to force sobriety or anything like that. Or that I'm not going to push anybody. And I'm not going to push anybody. I'm not going to do that. What I am going to do is encourage sobriety as much as I possibly can. But the idea that came to me was maybe the reason that people aren't taking me that seriously is because you're only hearing it from a sick woman. From someone who was unfortunate enough to develop something because of drinking. What if you were to hear from a bunch of people who chose sobriety without health problems? What if you were to hear that it's just not worth it to drink from people who are perfectly healthy? How about that? Because I've gotten a few comments, and that's okay. Everyone is free to their own opinion and everything like that, but I have a feeling that people aren't taking me as seriously as they need to because they're only hearing it from my perspective. Now, this is my channel. Obviously, it's going to be my perspective, but it's up to me who's on my channel. So I got to thinking about it. What if I called on some friends of mine or people that really want to be a part of this and interviewed them? And then you can hear what they have to say. Not everybody gets sick from drinking or using drugs. Some people are lucky enough to get clean or sober or both and never have a health problem one. Some people are very lucky in that aspect. Blessed is more like it. Not everybody, obviously, or I wouldn't be here. But how about we do that? How about instead of just listening to what I have to say, you hear it from some other people as well. Why it's just not worth it to drink or use or anything like that. There's a few people I have in mind. There's a few things I have in mind. My wheels are turning. This is about to get pretty interesting. Up until now, it's just, I mean, granted, my channel hasn't been going long, but up until now, it's just been me talking to y'all as my story. And I'm still going to do that. My story is very important. My story is very important. And that having been said, I got to thinking about it and realized I haven't filled y'all in too much on my story. Okay? A lot of it, or not a lot of it, but some of it is non-disclosure. Just because you can't go into talking about it without mentioning enough for there to not be controversy. And I would never do that. I will never name drop on here, ever. Even if it's someone that I just absolutely cannot stand, I will never name drop. But let me give you a little bit of a backstory, okay? Because I did the whole meet Blair Mac, but let's re-meet Blair Mac, okay? So, 35 years old, like I said before, mother of 2 little girls. And I've got a son waiting for me in heaven. I don't know if I mentioned that before. But one of the reasons, I guess you could say excuses, for the things that I did in my past was because of depression from losing my son. And whenever that happened, I spiraled down really fast. Really fast. I ended up in jail for 8 days, and whenever I got out of jail, I had nothing. I had absolutely nothing. And except, I guess, a glimmer of hope, but not even really that. And I ended up living in a situation that I should have never lived in. And out of that situation came even more drinking. And then I got my first DWI. And after that DWI, I decided I'd hit bottom. So I checked myself into a rehab, a really, really good rehab. And I was determined to stay sober. But about 3 months into sobriety, due to some very unfortunate events, I ended up homeless and living in a, I don't really know how to put it without, I lived somewhere I didn't want to live, okay? And after being there for a month, I lived in my car for a few months. And in that time frame, why fight for custody of my daughters? Why am I going to fight for custody of them? What, to come and chill with me in my car? And I had gotten myself to the point where when I woke up in the morning, I was shaking, like shaking. And the only way to not shake was to drink. And now there's all the big, broad picture of it, the vast majority of it was from 2014, well, late 2014 to the end of 2015 was the big part of it. And then December 8th, 2015, I got my second DWI and my last DWI. And I spent the night in jail, got out that morning, and the next morning, December 9th, that's my sober date, December 9th, 2015. That's how long I have been sober. And one of the stipulations for some things that were laid down in front of me that day were to be honest about everything from now on. About everything. Because when you're drinking or even using, you know darn good and well you're not telling the truth. You're not telling the truth because you're not living truthfully. You're not living honestly. So you make things up. You embellish. You glorify. You make things colorful just to make people not realize who you really are. But what you don't realize a lot of the time, which I didn't, I do now because I see it in people, is they can spot it a mile away. It's the old adage, and I'm sorry, I promised myself I really wasn't going to cuss on these things, but it's the old adage, you can't bullshit a bullshitter. Bottom line. And so I see it in people now, but I didn't see it in myself then. But anyway, one of the stipulations was that I be honest about everything, and I have been about everything. I keep my line of accountability very long. Anything that I ever say on here is 1,000% the truth. If you ever question anything, that's fine. Find somebody that knows me. They'll verify it. They will let you know in a heartbeat. Because the people who love me the most, the people who know me the best, won't put up with it for 1 second. It doesn't matter if I've got 20 years sobriety. I start lying and they're out of my life. I'll lose everybody. I've already lost a great deal of my health. Why am I going to go and lose the people that I love? Why would I do that? So, anyway, December 9th, 2015, that is my sober date. And we are now in March 2018, and I'm still going strong. And I plan on always going strong. And like I said, yes, earlier I said that I have to. Yeah, I have to because of how I feel. That's how I feel that I have to. There are plenty of people, even my doctor has told me, there are plenty of people with pancreatitis that continue drinking or using drugs. Now, most of the time, from what I've heard, the pancreatitis comes from drinking, not drugs, but still, there's plenty of people that keep drinking. And the reason being, I didn't feel any pain until I got sober. I didn't know I was sick. I have no idea how long I had pancreatitis. That's what should scare you right there. I have no idea how long I was sick. No clue. I was numbing my senses. I was numbing my pain receptors. I had no clue. Then I get sober, December 9th, 2015. And around February, a little before, just like end of January, not even a month later, a month and a half, 2 months later, I start losing weight drastically. And I thought that the alcohol was keeping me from losing weight because I had had the gastric bypass surgery and I was still a little bit heavier. And so I figured that because I stopped drinking, that it helped me kick my gastric bypass back into gear and I started losing weight again. Well, I was wrong. That's one of the telltale signs of the pancreatitis. You know, even this new doctor that I met asked me if I was losing weight again, and I am. That's what's so upsetting about this whole thing too, and it even upsets my doctor, is the fact that I have stayed sober, but I've progressed. So, you know, you think you get sober, you get healthy. I got sober and found out how unhealthy I was. I started progressively losing weight and feeling a lot of pain, a lot of discomfort, didn't know what was going on. I even had somebody tell me that it could be residual pain from my body missing the alcohol. And I thought, okay, that could happen. I had someone telling me that it was post-acute withdrawal syndrome, which is called PAWS, and that can happen. By the way, I just want to point that out. I have had a licensed counselor tell me this. 6 months to 2 years after sobriety, it could hit at any point. You wake up one morning and you feel like you're brand new sober. You don't know what's going on. It's post-acute withdrawal. You think you're going strong, and you are going strong. You're great. So I had people telling me that that was possibly what was going on. I did not have anybody believing me that I was really sick. I had people believing that whenever I would go to ER because something was wrong and the pain was waking me up, it was so intense that I was going there to drug seek. I was not drug seeking. I would never even fill a prescription whenever I left ER. I would let them get me comfortable while I was there, but I never even filled a prescription while I left. I'm just saying, I went through a lot, a whole lot, and I'm still going through a whole lot. But depression is one of the things that took me to where I thought I would never in a million years be. I've been around people falling down drunk and knowing that that's not what I wanted to be, and then I ended up being that person. You know, I'm one of those people that says originally it started off medicinally. It did. It started off as a way to, I lost my insurance, and I was on 5 different medications that I'd been on for a very long time. One of which, if you don't take, it was for depression and anxiety. And I had been on it for so long that, man, if I was supposed to take it at 8 o'clock, you knew by 9 o'clock that I hadn't taken it. It was bad. And I detoxed cold turkey off of that medicine, and I had the worst withdrawal symptoms ever. And that's a legit medicine. That's not a drug, you know, a recreational drug or alcohol or anything like that. That's a legit medicine that doctors had me on for depression, and I was detoxing off of that, and it was terrible. And the odd thing is the only thing that got rid of the detox symptoms from that was to drink. Strangest thing in the world. Started off with those little $1 bottles. That's what it started off as. I'd have 1 or 2 of those, and I was good. But 1 or 2 didn't help anymore, so it needed to be 2 or 3. And 2 or 3 didn't help anymore, so it needed to be like a little bag full. And after that, it was like, okay, well, how about one of those little half pints? And then I got to myself to the point where it was a little over 2 pints a day. And like I was saying the other day, whenever I was so excited that I was able to drink Sprite, I was drinking the vodka with Sprite. And to this day, yeah, I was able to drink the Sprite the other day with some Gatorade because I was only allowed to have clear liquids. But it's been over 2 years since I've been able to even think about drinking Sprite because my brain automatically smelled vodka. A friend of mine loves to drink Sprite, and every time she would open one around me, I thought I was going to throw up because my brain told me I was smelling vodka. That's how bad it was. That was my drink, vodka. And anyway, so that's just I kind of went off on a tangent there, but that's a tiny bit of my backstory, okay? But like I said, I've got this idea, and I'm really hoping that it'll work. And I'm really hoping that my friends that I'm wanting to interview and talk to will come through for me. And for you as well. Because just hearing it from someone who's sick may not do the trick. If you hear it from somebody who has gotten sober because they wanted to, I mean, I wanted to, but from somebody who has no repercussions health-wise or anything like that, but still chooses sobriety, maybe that will set a light bulb off, and maybe it'll be a different, it'll be a different perspective than just mine. Now, like I said, this is my channel. This is what I'm going to do, and you're going to get a lot from me. But that was my idea tonight. What if I went and talked to some other people and had them agree to interview on here and talk to you as well? And see that, yeah, you can get really bad health repercussions from drinking alcohol or using drugs. You really can. But you can also get clean and sober and have no health issues at all. But to them, it's still worth it to be sober. And it's just not worth it to pick it up ever again. Ever again. I'm hoping that what they'll tell you is how life was when they were drinking or using versus how life is now. And that you'll see it's so not worth it. It's so not worth it. I have my parents in my life. I have my sister in my life. I have good friends in my life. Above all and anybody, I have my daughters in my life. So I needed to clarify that from earlier. Yeah, no, I am human. There are times that little thought goes into my mind. That's where my book comes into play. That's where my meetings come into play, and talking to my fellow AAs and NAs and stuff like that. Talking to the community and getting out there and making sure that I voice this to them and talk to them, and we all share our experiences and everything like that, because it's so strange. You're in a room full of people that you hardly know, but you've got everything in common with. It's absolutely crazy. But anyway, I'm gonna go. But this is my idea. My wheels are turning, and I was telling Tony earlier that I was afraid that people were going to look at me as some sort of a how did I put it? That people were going to look at me as not an activist. Well, I cannot remember the word that I said. A fanatic. People are going to look at me as a fanatic. Well, you know what? You're darn right I am. You're darn right I am. But I'm not a fanatic. If anything, I'm a crusader. I'm a crusader for people to get sober. Period. That is my goal. That is my goal. I am not trying to scare anybody. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm never going to call anybody out. I'm not going to do anything like that. I just want to make you think. Just think for a second. I look at... I see what this does to my daughters, or what it has done to my daughters. Me having to go to Temple and the procedure and then the scare in the hospital, that scared them. That scared them really, really bad. But you know who else it scared was my mom. I mean, it scared Tony too. It scared anybody who loves me, but you got to think about stuff like that. Whenever you are opening a bottle or popping a can or whatever people do with drugs, the only thing I ever did was prescription medicine, but I don't know needles. I don't know. I'm not even going to pretend to understand about all those other kind of drugs. I just understand about alcohol. When you open that up, when you decide, when you make that mental decision to take that drink, you are putting your life in jeopardy. You're taking a chance of, God forbid, getting behind the wheel, getting alcohol poisoning, never waking up. You're taking the chance of getting what I've got, many cirrhosis, many other things, so many other things, and that's not just your life you're playing with. You're playing with the life of everybody who loves you. Period. Like I said, I can't stress enough. Whenever I talk to my friends about me doing this page, one of my friends specifically told me, do not scare people. Don't go out there to scare people. I'm not trying to scare you. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make you think. Okay? You're not just messing with your life when you drink. You're messing with everyone's life who loves you. Period. You know, my parents had to go a long time without me. My daughters barely got to see me. It wasn't just my life being affected. It was everyone's life who loves me. You know, I lost a lot. And I'm clawing my way back, trying to gain it all back. I'd like to say that as I sit here, I've gotten it back. But I haven't. There's always going to be them questioning. There's always going to be them wondering. And that's okay. It keeps me on my toes. And that's one of the things that keeps me honest. Is if they ever wonder or if they ever worry, I tell them, just ask me, just talk to me. Just keep the open line of communication. Let's just keep it real. You know, but you know, like I said, maybe not just hearing from me, but hearing from other people as well will maybe really put it out there and make people think a little bit more. That you're not just, because I mean, I know, I've seen the comments and I've gotten the messages. I have had a lot of people say, not everybody gets sick. You know, not everybody gets pancreatitis. People can, you know, so-and-so drank until they were 59 or 60 or 80 years old and they were just fine. Okay. That's great. I don't ever want anybody to have to deal with what I'm dealing with or more, or their parents to, or their kids to, or their friends, or their relationships. I don't ever want anybody to have to deal with that. But the bottom line is people do. And that's what I was saying earlier. A lot of times people find out that they've got what I've got, or even something different, and they don't stop drinking. Because their mentality is, why am I going to stop drinking just to feel the pain? Who wants to feel pain? Like I said, I didn't feel any pain until I got sober. None. None whatsoever. I didn't give myself a chance to. Like I said, I had killed my pain receptors. I had killed, well, I was killing myself. But, anyway, like I said, my wheels are turning. I've got some ideas. And we'll see where this goes. I have really high hopes for this channel. I have really high hopes for everybody watching. But more than anything, I have high hopes for myself. This keeps me going. This really keeps me going. I've got my family, and above all, I've got my daughters keeping me going. But when I'm by myself and the possibilities are endless, this is what I have. I have my sobriety. I have my channel. I have me talking to who knows how many people, trying as hard as I can to help people understand that it's just not worth it. But what is worth it is sobriety. It is so worth it. Just think about it. Okay? Please just think about it. I love you guys. Please stay tuned. Please spread the word. This is about to get really good. Okay? Love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. You'll be talking to a lot of other people too. Bye.